Have you ever felt that sudden, scorching heat rise in your chest the moment someone rolls their eyes at you? Maybe it was a dismissive tone in a meeting, a rude comment online, or a subtle dig from a friend designed to make you feel small. In that split second, your biology screams at you to strike back, to defend your ego and to prove them wrong. But what if I told you that this reaction is exactly where you lose your power? The ancient Stoics realized something profound thousands of years ago. Disrespect is never really about you. It is merely a reflection of the offender's inner chaos. The greatest display of strength isn't a loud clapback. It is the quiet, terrifying power of restraint. Welcome to INVICTUS X. Today, we are not just listing rules, we are building armor for your mind. We will explore 10 timeless Stoic lessons to handle disrespect with a dignity that disarms your opponents. Stick with us, because the final principle will fundamentally shift how you view conflict and yourself. Lesson 1. Stay calm under fire. The first battle you face when disrespected is never against the other person. It is a civil war within your own mind. Anger is a seductive emotion. It feels like strength, but it is actually a loss of control. The Stoics taught that peace is the ultimate form of power. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who faced constant betrayal, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Imagine yourself as the ocean. On the surface, the wind might whip up violent waves. These are the insults and disrespects of daily life. But deep down, 50 feet below the surface, the water is completely still. That depth is your character. When someone insults you, they are merely splashing the surface. If you remain calm, you prove that their turbulence cannot reach your core. Seneca reminds us that he suffers more than necessary who suffers before it is necessary. Reacting with anger is suffering twice, once from the insult and again from your own rage. Don't volunteer for the second suffering. Lesson 2. Turn the mirror inward. It is easy to point fingers, but wisdom begins with a brutally honest look in the mirror. The Stoics practiced rigorous self-reflection. When tension arises, before you condemn the other person, you must ask, is there any truth in what they said? Even if it was delivered maliciously, is there a kernel of valid feedback? Let's say a colleague snaps at you for missing a deadline. Your ego wants to yell about how busy you are, but the mirror technique asks you to pause and admit, I did miss the deadline. Owning your part of the mess doesn't make you weak, it disarms the attack. However, be careful not to over-internalize. We often suffer from what is called the illusion of transparency. We assume people know our intentions, but they don't. As noted in Insights from Farnham Street, the gap between our subjective experience and what other people pick up on is known as the illusion of transparency. Sometimes disrespect is just a misunderstanding of your silence. Reflect, adjust, and keep your side of the street clean. Lesson 3. The power of the pause. Seneca famously called anger a brief madness. Once that madness takes hold, reason leaves the room. The most practical tool you can develop is the Stoic pause. I call this the 3-second rule. The next time someone insults you, force yourself to take a slow 3-second inhale before you speak. Second 1, acknowledge the adrenaline. Second 2, remind yourself that their behavior is not your problem. Second 3, choose a response, not a reaction. That silence, it's loud. It makes the aggressor uncomfortable. It shifts the dynamic from them attacking a victim to them performing a tantrum in front of a statue. As Marcus Aurelius noted, how much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? The insult hurts for a moment, Your angry reaction can ruin your reputation for a lifetime. Lesson 4. Empathy over ego. This is perhaps the hardest pill to swallow. When people act out, it is rarely a personal attack on you. It is a symptom of their own suffering. Epictetus taught us to seek the good in ourselves, not in external validation. Think of the last time you were rude to someone. Were you truly evil, or were you just tired, stressed, or insecure? Probably the latter. When a driver cuts you off or a cashier is rude, silently tell yourself, they are suffering. This mental shift turns your anger into pity. You stop seeing them as a monster and start seeing them as a flawed human acting out of pain. As the saying goes, hurt people hurt people. By responding with empathy, you refuse to accept the gift of their poison.
Lesson 5. Live by virtue, not emotion. For a Stoic, the highest good is virtue, specifically wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Everything else, money, fame, other people's opinions, is indifferent. When you are disrespected, ask yourself, what does virtue demand of me right now? Wisdom demands you see the insult as meaningless noise. Courage demands you remain silent when you want to scream. Temperance demands you control your state. Justice demands you treat them better than they treated you. Seneca said, "No man was ever wise by chance. You have to plan to be virtuous. You don't win an argument by shouting the loudest. You win by being the person who refused to lower their standards to match the aggressors." Lesson 6. The serenity of acceptance. You cannot control the weather, the traffic, or the rudeness of others. Trying to control these things is a recipe for anxiety. You can only control your response. Picture an archer. You can perfect your stance, your aim, and your release, your actions. But once the arrow leaves the bow, a gust of wind might blow it off course, external factors, or disrespect. A non-Stoic screams at the wind. A Stoic accepts the wind and adjusts for the next shot. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears." If you accept that rude people exist just like mosquitoes exist, you stop being shocked when they bite. You simply swat them away and move on. Lesson 7. Laugh at the small things. Humor is the ultimate shield. Seneca believed that one has mastered themselves when they know how to deal with what they should not take seriously. There is a story of the philosopher Cato. Someone once spat in his face during a debate. Instead of getting angry, Cato calmly wiped his face and said, "I will swear to anyone that people are wrong to say you cannot use your mouth." He made a joke of the man's rudeness. When you laugh at an insult, you shrink the monster. You show that the disrespect is so beneath you that it's actually funny. It transforms tension into lightness and proves you are untouchable. Lesson 8. Draw the line with dignity. Stoicism is often mistaken for passivity, for being a doormat. This is false. Stoicism is about control, and sometimes control means asserting a boundary firmly. You can stand up for yourself without losing your cool. If someone crosses a line, look them in the eye and say, "That was not acceptable," or "I won't continue this conversation if you speak to me that way." The key is the delivery. No yelling, no shaking, no drama, just a cold, hard boundary. This is the difference between a reaction, emotional, and a response, rational. By standing firm yet composed, you teach others how to treat you. Lesson 9. Forgive to free yourself. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Forgiveness in Stoicism isn't about letting them off the hook. It's about letting yourself off the hook. You might think, "I can't forgive them, they were wrong." But Marcus Aurelius gives us the ultimate rebuttal. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury.
If you hold a grudge, you become bitter. You become just as angry and hateful as the person who insulted you. In that sense, they win. They have successfully cloned their misery into your heart. Forgiveness is an act of selfishness in the best possible way. You are reclaiming your mental real estate. Lesson 10. Shift your perspective. Finally, we must zoom out. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that life is fleeting. The abyss of endless time swallows it all. Take the view from above. Imagine looking at your conflict from an airplane. Now look at it from the moon. Now from the edge of the galaxy. In the grand scheme of the universe, does this specific rude comment really matter? Will you remember it on your deathbed? Will it matter in 100 years? Most disrespect comes from ignorance. It is temporary dust on the windshield of your life. Seneca reminds us, the mind that is anxious about future events is miserable. Don't carry the baggage of a small insult into your future. Drop it. It's heavy, and you have better places to go.
Disrespect is inevitable. Whether it's a troll in the comments section or a rude stranger on the street, people will test you. But remember, every test is an opportunity. It is a chance to practice mastery, to strengthen your character, and to prove to yourself that you are not a slave to your impulses. The next time someone tries to bring you down, smile. Take that pause. Remember that they cannot touch your peace unless you hand them the keys. The greatest victory isn't silencing them, it's remaining calm, wise, and free, no matter what storm rages around you. This week, pick just one of these habits, maybe the 3-second pause or laughing it off, and use it. See how the dynamic changes. We want to hear your stories. How do you handle disrespect? Share your habits in the comments below so we can all learn from the tribe. If you found value in this, share it with someone who needs it. This is INVICTUS X. Stay strong, stay stoic.